Bronze casting today involves many of the same techniques as it did in ancient Rome when this large sculpture was cast. This video shows the dramatic process of pouring molten bronze into molds, led here by the artists at the Studio Foundry in Cleveland.
My name is John Rinaldi. I am a sculptor and run Studio Foundry here in Cleveland for the past 20 years.
John and his colleagues provide bronze castings for artists throughout the Midwest. They take the artist's original object and make a rubber mold. From that, they make a wax pattern and embed it in a plaster mold. They heat the plaster molds to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit in the kiln you see here, so the wax melts and all moisture is purged. They bring the molds over and set them into a sand pit. This helps withstand the pressure of the molten bronze they will pour into the molds. Once they have all the molds in place and surrounded by sand, they ignite a natural gas forced air furnace. The Studio Foundry uses a type of bronze called Everdur, an industry-standard alloy for statuary, which is 95% copper, 4% silicon with other trace elements. The metal is heated inside the furnace for over an hour until it becomes molten and extremely hot. They test the temperature to see if it's ready to pour into the molds. 2,048 degrees Fahrenheit, more than hot enough to begin the bronze pour. Surprisingly little has changed since ancient times in the bronze casting process. John Rinaldi explains.
Their crucible would be immersed in a charcoal fire with bellows. It would probably be a ceramic crucible. As opposed to ours, we use a silicon carbide. Somebody would be pumping bellows, and they would be filling the crucible until it was full. It would have to be a weight that they could easily manage with 2 people, maybe 3. And then once their metal is at temperature, poured into that same mold that we use today. With very few differences.
They pour the last bit of bronze into bar molds to save for the next bronze pour. The next day, John removes the cooled molds from the sand pit. Then it's time to break open the plaster to see how the bronze castings turned out inside. Craig Horseman brings one of the bronze pieces over and places it next to the wooden branch that the artist asked them to cast. The filling and ventilation tubes are still attached to the cast piece and will come off along with the last bit of white plaster in the chasing and finishing process. John Rinaldi reflects on the ancient art of bronze casting.
Well, it's been fun to study some of the techniques and some of the processes that the ancient used, and then match it to what we do today.